Hello and welcome back to the Fluent English Podcast. I'm your host and guide, Max. Let's be honest for a moment. You see a list of the 100 most common phrasal verbs. You download the PDF, you study it, you try to memorize it. Look up, look after, look into. And then, a week later, you've forgotten 95 of them. And the 5 you do remember, you're too afraid to use in a real conversation because you're not quite sure if it's the right context. If this feels familiar, I want you to know one thing. The problem is not you. It's the method. Memorizing lists of phrasal verbs is one of the most inefficient ways to learn them. In today's episode, we're going to explore why that method always fails. And more importantly, I'm going to share a much smarter, more effective technique with you. A way to learn phrasal verbs with deep context, so you not only remember them, but you can actually use them with confidence. This is the shift that can take you from being a student who collects words to a speaker who communicates ideas. So let's get into it.
So why is memorizing lists of phrasal verbs such an ineffective strategy? It comes down to one critical missing ingredient: context. Imagine trying to learn to cook by just memorizing a list of ingredients: salt, flour, sugar, eggs. You might know what each ingredient is, but you have no idea how they work together, in what quantities, or what dish they create. It's useless information in isolation. Learning phrasal verbs from a list is the exact same thing. You're learning the ingredients of the language without learning the recipe. A phrasal verb like take off is a perfect example. On a list, it's just 2 words. But in the real world, take off can mean a plane leaving the ground. The plane will take off in an hour. To remove clothing, please take off your shoes. To become successful very quickly, her career really took off after that movie. Or even to leave suddenly. He saw the police and just took off. 4 completely different meanings. 4 completely different contexts. When you just memorize take off, your brain has no anchor, no story, no visual image to connect it to. It's just a floating piece of data. That's why, when you're in a conversation, your brain can't find and use that word quickly. It doesn't know which takeoff you need. This lack of context creates what I call contextual anxiety. It's that feeling of hesitation you have before using a phrasal verb. Deep down, you're not sure if this is the right situation for that word. You're afraid you'll sound strange or be misunderstood. This anxiety makes you default back to safer, simpler words like leave or remove, and your English stays stuck at a textbook level. So, the real goal isn't to stuff more words into your brain. The goal is to take fewer words and weave them deeply into your understanding of the language through rich, meaningful context. We need to stop collecting ingredients and start learning the recipes. And that's exactly what our technique today is designed to do.
So if memorizing lists is the wrong way, what's the right way? I want to introduce you to a simple but incredibly powerful framework I call the deep context method. The philosophy is simple: depth over width. Instead of learning 20 phrasal verbs superficially in a day, we are going to learn one phrasal verb deeply and make it a permanent part of your active vocabulary. This method has 3 core steps. Let's walk through them together. Step 1. Discover in the wild. First, you need to find your phrasal verb in the wild, in its natural habitat, not on a list. This means you actively look for them when you're consuming English. It could be in a YouTube video you're watching, a podcast you're listening to like this one, a Netflix show, or an article you're reading. When you hear or see a phrasal verb, pause. That's your target for the day. For example, you hear a character in a movie say, "I need to cut down on coffee." Perfect. Cut down on is your phrasal verb of the day. Step 2, investigate the meaning. Now you become a detective. Go to a good online dictionary like Cambridge or Oxford. Don't just look at the first definition. Look at the example sentences. This is the most important part. See how the phrasal verb is used in different situations. You might see, I'm trying to cut down on sugary drinks, to reduce the amount of something. My doctor told me to cut down on stress, to reduce. Notice the pattern. It's often used for habits or things you consume. This is the deep context your brain needs. Step 3, make it personal. The activation step. This is the final and crucial step. You need to take that phrasal verb and connect it to your own life. Create 3 to 5 sentences that are true for you. Don't just copy the dictionary examples, make them personal. For example, with cut down on, I really need to cut down on spending so much time on social media. My friend cut down on fast food and he lost 10 kilos. Next month, I will try to cut down on watching TV late at night. When you do this, you're not memorizing a random fact. You are weaving that phrasal verb into the fabric of your own life and experiences. You're giving your brain a powerful, personal anchor. The word now has meaning to you. This 3-step process, discover, investigate, and personalize, is the recipe. It's how you take a single ingredient and learn how to actually cook with it. If you do this with just one new phrasal verb a day, by the end of a month, you won't have a forgotten list of 100 words. You'll have 30 phrasal verbs that you can use confidently and correctly in a real conversation. Now, let's try a quick guided practice with a very common phrasal verb.
All right, let's walk through the deep context method together with one of the most useful phrasal verbs in English, figure out. Let's start with step 1, discover in the wild. Imagine you were just listening to a podcast and you heard me say, "It took me a while, but I finally figured out how to use this new software." You recognize it. You pause, and now figure out is our target. Now for step 2, investigate the meaning. Figure out essentially means to understand or to find the solution to a problem after some thought. Let's look at a few example sentences to see its context. I can't figure out why the printer isn't working. To understand a problem. We need to figure out a way to save more money, to find a solution. She couldn't figure him out, to understand someone's personality or behavior. So it's about solving a puzzle, whether it's with a machine, a situation, or a person. Now for the most important part, step 3, make it personal. This is where you come in. I'm going to give you a prompt, and I want you to complete the sentence with something true for you. Say it out loud. Don't worry if it's perfect, just make it real. Let's try the first one. Complete this sentence. This week, I need to figure out... Good. Maybe you said, how to finish my project, or what to cook for dinner. Perfect. Let's do another one. Think about a skill you are learning. Complete this sentence. I'm still trying to figure out... Great. Maybe it was how to play this song on the guitar, or how this new app works. One last time. Think about a person you know well. It took me a long time to figure out... And that's the process. You see, you just took a phrasal verb, understood its deep context, and immediately connected it to your own life. You didn't just memorize it, you activated it. That phrasal verb is now one step closer to being a permanent part of your vocabulary. So, there you have it. The secret to learning phrasal verbs isn't about having a better memory, it's about having a better method. Your key takeaway from this episode is simple. Context is everything. Stop collecting lists of words like ingredients. Start learning the recipes by discovering phrasal verbs in the wild and making them personal to your own life. Depth over width.
And that leads me to my invitation for this week. Forget the long list. I invite you to find just one new phrasal verb this week. Use the deep context method we practiced. Discover it in a song or a show, investigate its meaning, and then, most importantly, come to the comment section and share one personal sentence you created with it. Let's turn our comment section into a living dictionary, full of real-world examples that we can all learn from. Remember, every phrasal verb you learn this way becomes a true part of your communication toolkit, ready to be used with confidence when you need it most. Thanks for tuning in to the Fluent English Podcast. I'm your host, Max.